This episode is once again sponsored by the brilliant Magic Rock Brewing. Currently, if you're in lockdown and you need a couple of beers, Magic Rock are offering next day delivery for all orders over £40. No voucher codes needed. Just head over to the website, which is www.magicrockbrewing.com/shop. And also keep an eye out on social media over the next couple of weeks as well. There'll be some more packs and a few interesting things on the horizon as well. Right, welcome to another lockdown episode of the Andy Takes That Chance podcast. Today, myself, Mark, Kosi and Neil continue our cult hero section with an all-action midfielder signed from Nuneaton Borough for a reported £55,000. He then went on to make over 150 town appearances in all competitions, scoring 20 goals. A key figure in Huddersfield Town's 94-95 promotion-chasing side, and later joined the illustrious group of players to captain Huddersfield Town. It's Darren Bullock. So welcome, Bully.
Hi, hello, boys. Nice to be here.
Can we call you Bully? Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's really funny when you see players from the past and everyone calls them names, and you kind of feel like we know you already. Do you know? So it's kind of a funny thing. Right. Okay. Before we get going and too far into the podcast, I think it's only right that we take a brief moment for two Huddersfield Town legends that have passed this last week. Trevor Cherry sadly passed away, and George McAllister, the physio, as well. So Trevor Cherry, a huge legend of Huddersfield Town, captained Huddersfield Town to promotion to the top flight in 69-70. Went on to have a brilliant career with Leeds, England, and Bradford City as a manager. A really top guy as well, by the sounds of it. And later joined Huddersfield as an associate director as well. And George McAllister, the physio, under the Mick Buxton era, a very happy time for Huddersfield Town, and up to 1993 as well. So our best wishes and condolences go to both families.
Yeah.
Matt, I know George McAllister's son well. He was the head physio at Yorkshire. He works in Manchester City now in their academy as well. So kind of like father, like son, obviously brought him up to be a physio as well. So doubly hurt really in that as well. So what a sad loss.
It shows how fickle life is really, because I was lucky enough to be in director's box for the QPR game at home in February, and I was sat 3 seats away from Trevor Cherry, and he looked fit as a fiddle. You know, nice bloke, very unassuming. And then that news. It's no age either, really, is it now? 72, especially when we're fitting well. And I
totally agree.
Just really, really sad, especially on back of. I know he did well at Leeds, Trevor Cherry, obviously on the back of Norman Hunter dying last week. It's a sad time for legends in English football, really.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I met Trevor a few times, and he was very polite, lovely spoken. Always had good words about myself and all the things that I was doing right or wrong. He always pulled me to one side at times, and he was a lovely bloke. I really got on with him really well. Whenever I did see him or speak to him, he was a lovely fella, and my deepest condolences to his family and all that's connected with him. It's a sad time at the moment with everything that's going on in the world, and with football and other things, and people just dropping off the face of the earth for no reason. To be honest with you, like you just said, 72 is no age, and my dad's 72. He's still lucky enough. He's still working. He's still doing the window cleaning job that I had. Well, that I've still got the business that I've still got. He gave me before I went into the pro game. And he's still working. He's 72. So it's frightening for myself, for him, and for myself. I'm 51, and it's a strange old time at the moment for everybody concerned.
I think one of the saddest things for me, like Norman Hunter and Trevor Cherry as well, is that they would have had funerals that would have been attended by the massive football. The top brass in football would have been there, and they're going to get half a dozen members of their own.
10 people at least. That's it. I
find that really sad for all families, but for those.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a crying shame. And at the end of the day, like I said, what do they do after? Did they have a remembrance for him, or a remembrance for the pair of them, or whatever? It's not the same as it. You 10 or 11 people just allowed, and but there's probably thousands on thousands that would have turned up to the funeral.
It was wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, we lost someone from the Millbridge bus, Bully. You might remember we came down to Malvern Town quite a few years ago now, probably 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I think we played at Yeovil. We'd had such a drink. I can't even remember whether we were Yeovil, York City by the end of the night, but we stuck Malvern Town dry. And Stephen Thompson, we lost him last week as well. And like you say, it's
never
so sad. And his daughter came on the Facebook last night and just said, "Thanks, guys, for giving him the best Saturdays that he could give him because he loved being on the bus, and it would have been.
Yeah, bloody hell. That's a shock to me, that is.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Commiserations too.
Bloody hell, it is, because commiserations to his family.
Absolutely. So let's move on to. It feels bad almost moving on to football after that, but let's move on to the road to Huddersfield Town, Bully, for you. You did it the hard way in many ways. These days you get young players. What they have is they get a lot given to them through the academy, and then they'll come up through an academy system. And
I'd call it silver spoon in the mouth.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe a golden spoon. And but you did the hard way. You had to play for Malvern Town and Nuneaton Borough. How did the move to Huddersfield come about then? How did you get to Huddersfield Town? Just tell us about the pathway that you took, really, and how the move came about.
Well, I was 14, 15, and I joined the side where I'm from, Worcester City, at 13, 14, and I got into the reserves, into the reserves when I was 15, and I moved into the first team when I was 16 at Worcester. I'll say the least, I was a bit of a hothead, a bit of a nutter, a bit of a so I didn't have a pathway, didn't have a road where I wanted to go. I was always, flitting from here to there, from there to here. It was crazy. I had my first child, my daughter, when I was 18. Obviously, I was still at Worcester at the time. I moved to Malvern. Bloke took me there called Graham Selby, the manager at the time. I had 2 great seasons there. And then I went back to Worcester for 6 months, 8 months. Went to Redditch, local sides around Worcestershire. And then obviously George Rooney was at Worcester at the time. When I went back the second time, took me to Nuneaton. And I was 22, coming up 22. And I said to the wife, I was married at the time. I had Zoe, my first child. And I said to the wife at the time, I said, look, I'll give it 12 months, 18 months. I'm going to knuckle down, train hard, work, obviously, and train hard, stay at the pubs and stay out at the beers and God knows what, and train really hard and see where it goes for the next 12, 18 months. Because all my dream was always just to turn pro, and I didn't help myself. And I admit that I didn't help myself when I was a child, when I was growing up. I didn't help myself at all, playing football 16 to 18 to 19 to 20 to 21. But as soon as I knuckled down, so my daughter came, knuckled down, went to Nuneaton. I had 18 months, I had great 18 months, which stood me in good stead. Had me second child, and then I can always remember I was being the manager at the time was a fellow called John Barton, played for Everton, and he was a good player. John was good manager, and he said there's a lot of scouts looking at you at the moment, which at the time I'd scored, I think it was 16 or 17 goals from midfield, and that was before Christmas. So I was flying. I was fit as a fiddle, and I was absolutely flying. And there was a few. I knew a few scouts had watched and been around the club, been around me, been around trying to speak to the manager and the chairman, which they used to do years ago, the way it was done. And I can always remember we were playing on a Tuesday night down at the West Midland Police. It was called Tally-O in Birmingham, and it was a replay. It was a horrible night. It was absolutely lashing down the rain. It was freezing cold. And John Barton said to me, he said, Neil Warnock's down here. Well, Kevin Blackwell was there first, and I knew Kevin, and I'd seen him a couple of times. And he said, Neil Warnock's coming down to have a look at you as well tonight. So, I'd done me warm-up, done me bits and bobs. I can always remember him getting this big Mercedes, great silver Mercedes with a dog. Right, and he had a long coat on. Game kicked off. He walked from one corner to the top corner behind the goal, walked back down, and got in his car and disappeared. By that time, I'd scored, I'd been booked, and I'd put somebody probably in Rose Ed in a stand somewhere. And he got in the car and went. He got in the car and went, and I thought, I've blown it. Now, he'd gone after say about 7 minutes. For 83 minutes, it was the worst game I've ever played football in my life because I thought I'd blown it up. So I went home was distraught, to be honest with you. I didn't speak to the wife for bloody hell for a day or so. And then a couple of days later, I had a phone call. I think it was on the Thursday. And it was Neil Warnock rang me up. He said, so-and-so, would you like to come up on the Saturday? And I think they're Cambridge, I'm sure it's Cambridge, at Old Leeds Road. I think Boothy scored, if I remember rightly. It was, and I came up with Sarah. We drove up, and bloody hell, it was like fucking the other side of the world. So I had a little old Mondeo at the time, and it was bloody hell, I had brakes like that trying to go up the road. It was madness. So yeah, it was crazy. And I came up on the Saturday, watched the game, and there was Mick Jones. I met Mick Jones first of all. He took us to Old Johnny's, had the meal there, and whatever, and then went down to the ground at the Leeds Road. Sat in the ground, watched the game. I can't remember the score. I'm sure Boothy scored. I'm sure it might have been 1-1 or 2-1. I can't remember. And I went into the bar after, and then Mick Jones came in, and obviously said, "Would you like to come in?" So I went into the gaffer's dressing room, in his room at the time with the wife. Sat down, he introduced himself. Lovely, him and Sharon. Sharon was there at the time, his wife now. Mick Jones, Kevin Blackwell, Dave Wilson, the physio, and all people like that was in there. And I had a drink. And he said, "Would you like to sign?" I said, "Yeah, definitely." I said, "Absolutely, 100,000,000% I'll sign." So I shook his hand. I got up and I said, "I've got to drive back to Worcester. Can I go?" So, I've got to drive back to Worcester. We've got 2 children. I drove back. The next day I had phone call after phone call after phone call. Jerry Francis from QPR. There was Bobby Gold from West Brom. It was all phoning me because Neil obviously took the chance. He was the first one to, but they offered major money for me at QPR, and they offered me massive, a wage that, to be honest with you, it scared me, to be honest with you. What it was, and I thought, oh, bloody hell. So, but I turned everyone down because I shook Neil's hand, and that's the way it was, and it was the best thing I ever did. Obviously, coming to Huddersfield, but as we say, I can remember then I came up on the Tuesday, had the medical on the Tuesday, drove back down, came back up on the Thursday, trained on the Thursday afternoon, trained on Friday, got my kit, and I played on the Saturday. How surreal is that? It's madness. The week before, I played in front of 300 people, 17 rats and 15 squirrels and 600 seagulls. Madness. And I played in front of, so many thousands then at Blackpool. It was fantastic. And as we say, the rest is history. But like I said, it was a dream come true. And as soon as playing for Huddersfield was my life, still is. But as soon as I left Huddersfield, it became a job then. And I didn't like football as much then as what I did when I was at Huddersfield, because Huddersfield was my life and it was what I wanted to do. And Huddersfield fans were fantastic. The group, the people around were brilliant. And as soon as I left it became a job. And like any job, it becomes boring after a bit. And I didn't like it.
What was it like then going into that squad of players that, 1993, £55,000 seemed quite a lot of money for a non-league player then, didn't it? And you're going into a squad, and some fans were a little bit angry about the style of play Neil Warnock had. It was selling players like Ewan Roberts, Chris Marsden, etc. And we were kind of like, he was putting his own print on things, but it probably wasn't going quite well at that point. How was it sort of coming into an atmosphere, a kind of we'll call it a transitional process, if you like? What was it like going into that? Obviously, you're high as a kite because you've just turned pro, but what was everyone else like?
It was difficult. It was frightening. But I like I said, I came in on the Thursday, enter trainers, Peter Jackson, Graham. I can't think of his name now. Centre half, he used to play by the side of Jacko. Mitchell and all that. They was all the older type of players. Phil Robinson, all them sort of people was in it, and I came in and I had silly haircut. I had sideburns that was right down to the side of my face, if you see what. And you had the likes of Jacko and people who were mimicking or not taking, I wouldn't say taking the piss, but laughing, if you can understand. But my own character, the way I was, I didn't say nothing, didn't say a word. And when it come to training, it was like Neil had to stop me in the training. He said, "What are you doing?" Because I smacked Jacko and I smacked Phil Robinson and smacked them just in training. And I said, "Well, that's the way I am. This is the way I am." And after that, I think it was an eye opener for myself, but I think it was an eye opener for them, for me coming in. Do you understand that? It was. I think they thought, "What the hell's we got here?" You know what I mean? And I just thought, well, you're here now. Don't worry about the imitations in trying to intimidate you and trying to do something different. Just go and do what you're good at. And that's what I did. And I trained the way I played. And I've always said this, I live by the sword and I'll die by the sword, and that's the way I always have been. And that's the way I always will be.
Let's talk about that season. The league season probably didn't get off to best, but one in your first season, let's say there's a special story brewing at Huddersfield Town. The league season, like I say, the league season wasn't going great at the time, but a little unknown, almost unknown at Huddersfield, an unheralded competition, if you like, called the Autoglass Trophy, provided us with some real joy for the first time in a long time as a fan. We'll probably pick this up in a game with Preston. So Preston North End have come down to the old Leeds Road. The game's a draw. And then the fifth penalty needs to be taken. Andy Fenson misses for Preston. And you step up as the fifth penalty taker on the day. And we'll talk about Brentford more later on and how that became a familiar slot for you, if you like. But this decision to put yourself forward in the Autoglass Trophy as the fifth penalty taker, was that you, or was that more down to the manager at the time?
No, that was me. I was confident. I've always been confident in penalties. I always did. I hadn't missed up until then. I took a few from Nuneaton and a few elsewhere where I played, and I'd never missed. So I just thought, well, I'll put myself there. You know, you got the likes of the young lads, you know, Boothy and people like that. Their asses fell out, but you know, it was the likes of myself who just said, yeah, that was my character. That's always been my character. I'm confident in what I do, and if it happens, and then so be it. If it doesn't, then that's by the by. At least you had the bollocks to just say, yeah, I'll do it, and don't have no ifs or buts and say, well, only if I would have done this or I'd have done that. But at least I did it. And at the end of the day, if I'd have missed, then I would have put my hands up. It's my fault. But fortunately for us, I didn't.
Let's take us through that Autoglass run then, because that Preston game took us into the quarterfinals against Crewe. Crewe Alexandra at home, we won 3-2. Phil Starbuck scored a couple of bangers in that game, didn't he? That was what he was capable of, cutting in from the left. 3-2. That took us through to the next round, and then I think the big one where everybody started believing and where the fans all of a sudden got on board was the Stockport County semi-final. Stockport had just walloped us pretty much in the league a couple of weeks.
5-0 was it? Was it 5-0, 4-0?
It wasn't pretty, was it? But you know, no. So we made, Neil Warnock made several changes, and we went there and really sort of put it to them, didn't we? A 1-0 win. To be honest with you, I can't remember really much about the game at Stockport. All I can remember is we did put it to them because we had nothing to fear. Because obviously they battered us and they thought it was going to be an easy job, I thought. You know, and there was a lot of people. John Whitney was carrying a cruciate ligament injury. He shouldn't have played. He should not have played. John Whitney, I always remember that. He
put Cross in for winning goal as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He put it in, and he should not have played. And Neil Warnock made him ice in that many injections and he played. And he should not have played. He had a cruciate 2 weeks later. He had to have an operation on a cruciate, and he didn't play for 8 months. Madness. I can remember stuff like that. You know, that's the likes of John Whitney, Richard Logan, myself. Just people who just come off the street and just wanted to play for the club. And we had so much. I know Neil got rid of some very, very good players, Ewan Roberts, Neil Marsden, people like that. But obviously Neil wanted to set his own standard, his own way in the side. And he got people together who wanted to win. Maybe it was ugly, maybe it didn't, but it took us where I think the club needed to go at the time.
I've got
as a fan on terraces, you felt that you felt that the players were playing for you rather than rocking up and playing for themselves.
That's right.
They really cared about the people like us who were on terraces and in stands watching. You know, I remember that Stockport game. That I think about quarter final one. It was Stockport one, and I was sat in Stockport in their main stand down that side, thinking, "Let me keep quiet here, so it can get a bit tasty." And then when we scored, it was literally every side at ground. There were Town fans popping up everywhere. that competition had grabbed everybody.
Yeah.
I'm looking around. You just lose it, don't you? You scored a goal in a game like that, you've lost it. And the more Town fans around me than lost up.
I've got a good story about that, Neil. Actually, I remember when I was only sort of barely a teenager at that point, but when I remember going back to the next game before, and my uncle, his friend who stood with us, who used to stand with us in the old cowshed, he said to me, he said, last week at the Stockport game, I was behind the goal at Stockport, and we'd gone 1-0 up, and he said, Bully's put someone in the stand, and all the Stockport fans are foaming at the mouth, wanting to get at him and shouting all sorts. We've got a corner at this end, and they're all giving Bully dogs. This is his story. They're all giving Bully dogs abuse. And Darren Bullock turns around and looks at them and goes, "Shh, we're going to Wembley." And he said, there's hundreds of fans go, and there's a big push in the Stockport end, and they're all going mad at you.
They wanted to kill me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it's always stuck with me that as one of my favourite stories. I don't know if you'll remember that.
But we had a spell for a few years there. It used to get quite tasty with Stockport.
Yeah.
There were quite a lot of niggly games with Stockport, and it were niggly on and off pitch, to be fair.
Yeah, Flinny, Kevin Francis, and all that.
Yeah, Andy Prince.
I can remember we played the one game in Stockport, and Flinny smacked Boothy up the tunnel, and it was. Remember, we used to go in there. It's like a little pit, and he'd drop there, and then up like a little concrete pathway. Yeah. And that Flinny, he backhanded Boothy. And we played him again a couple of weeks later, and I had him in the dugout, I had him in the tunnel, and I smacked him straight up the mouth, and he was like, "What's going on here?" Boothy, I can remember Boothy walked past me, and he went, "Good lad, Bully." I went, whack at him. That was the end of that lot. I said, "We're equal," and then Kid Flynn, he was like, "Oh, I ain't coming near you." I remember that. Boothy always say to me, he said, "Bully," he said, "You looked after me there." But yeah, we used to, the things, we used to have some niggly games again. It was horrible people. Some of them, it didn't bother me, but some people, when they used to speak to Boothy or say Rodney Rowe or Chris Billy, and I used to think, "Oh, what are you talking to them on?" Then them kids, and it was horrible. But it was part and parcel of growing up, really, part and parcel of being a man and playing football. And that's sometimes you have to take that. And that was the way it was. The difference
is because of where you'd come from football-wise, that wouldn't have phased you.
I love that. The better,
Sunday
the more the better.
Non-league and what have you, the nigglier the better.
Yeah, fact, 100% fact. That the stronger they are, the more people. I'll say, "Well, keep coming. We'll keep bouncing off each other."
Yeah. Brilliant.
We'll move on to the Northern Area final, and you scored your first goal at Leeds Road. I always remember that header, and Tony Craig pushes it, doesn't he, and then can't quite get to it, and then you're celebrating with the clap hand.
The clap the hand.
Can you remember what those two legs were like? It was almost like the easy chant, wasn't it? The old wrestling kind of thing. What were those two games like? Because we've gone in 4-1. Ian Dunn's put us 4-1 up. That goal by Phil Starbuck's one of the best goals I've ever seen live. Yeah. It's fantastic. Unreal. And then they go 2-0 up in the second leg. What were those two games like to play in?
I think the first game. I think we thought we had done enough, and we went up there thinking, we just got to turn up, and we'll beat these anyway. And obviously their fans got right behind them, and before we knew it was 2-0 down and backs against the wall. And I remember rightly, I was on a booking. I was one booking away from getting suspended, and Neil was like saying to me, "Don't," and I'd done I'd gone through the lad and I got stretchered off, but I wasn't injured. I thought, that's it, because he'd have set me up. The referee would have booked me, and I can remember going through the lad and thinking, "Oh God, I'm done now." And I saw it lay down. The kid was at poleaxe. I was poleaxe. It looked as though they clashed against each other. And I got on the station and I went past and I winked at Neil. He looked at me. He was like that. oh my God, what have you just done? I was like, I remember that, because people said I wasn't even injured, and I thought, fuck, please, because I was saying, I was like really playing, will they get me off? I really feels bad. I said, I broke something, this, that, and the other. So they got the stretcher off, and by the time that referee didn't realise he could give me a card, so I gone. So Warnock looked at me and just freaked his eye, and he went, you fuck, what have you done? I was like, brilliant. And that's why after the game you look at me and Neil shouting and that. Oh, crazy. But for him to play as well, 10 minutes, was it 9 or 10 minutes injury time?
Minutes, yeah.
I can tell you how that game felt as a fan. Horrible.
I bet you it did. I bet you, to be honest with you, it must, you just want to be, like, I can remember thinking, I've been blown this, I've been done this way. And I felt physically sick in the dressing room. And I was going, well, how long's left? They said and it was about 8 to 10 minutes. And I was like, so what you must have thought, and as fans, I felt physically, it's the worst feeling I've ever felt in football for that 10 minutes. Yeah. And I thought, I was begging myself, I was playing, please blow the whistle, because Neil would have sacked me.
Well, the referee were just trying to give them as much time as humanly possible to get.
Yeah, I think Neil was saying, and he's saying after the game, bloody hell, he wanted them to fucking score, didn't he? And I was like, yeah, we also. But at the end of the day, like I said, he blew the whistle, and then the celebrations yourselves after in the celebrations, and then seeing the queues the next day or the next couple of days for the tickets was unreal. It was scary. That I believe me, to this day.
In fact, it might have even been done when you were on here. The one of the parts of getting to Wembley, one of the biggest buzzes for me, one of the biggest memories, were queuing for about 4 to 5 hours to get a ticket, and the buzz in that queue were unreal. We'd have queued for days. Didn't matter how long it took. We'd have queued for days.
I can remember coming to training, and I'm a supporter. I'm part of. I'm you lot. I've always have been. I was lucky enough to play for the club and pull the great shirt on, and I was I'm honoured and pleasured to do that. But I was a supporter, and that few days queuing up for them tickets made me realise how passionate and how fantastic the fans are at the town. That's what sucked me into it. I went, whoop, I was shocked. I was upline and sinkered from there on. Amazing. Madness.
We've been starved to so much success though, Bully, and I remember that Carlisle game, I'll remember it, because you were celebrating at final whistle, I were running back like you were saying, Bob, there were loads of trouble, we were getting chased, me and my dad, by Carlisle fans. It were chaos, mate. I
would have loved to have been with you. I would have loved to have been with you. I would have loved to have been in that, mate. Oh, look, come on, let's have some. I would have been like that. We would have Wembley piss off.
Brilliant.
Madness.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing with your boots over your shoulder as well, running down.
Yeah, no, probably I'd have been throwing my boots. Come on, whack.
0 fucks given. Let's have it.
Fucking right. Let's have some. Hey, mate, I'll have a black eye in the morning, but we're still going to Wembley now.
Yeah, we're still going to Wembley, yeah. Absolutely.
Fucking great.
So brilliant. What was the build, apart from the queues and everything, what was the build-up like, the excitement going to Wembley?
Oh, as scary.
As fans, it was just...
It was the fans, the kit man, the groundsman, the people in the offices doing the ticket. It was like a carnival party atmosphere every day.
Yeah, well.
And it was you look forward to going to training, you look forward to going into the dressing room, you look forward to doing presentations and it was just like a party atmosphere. Like for me, it was like the old town come alive. You know what I mean? It was like somebody switched on the light and the old town was all bright and everything, and it was fantastic.
Well, what were the training like coming up to it? Were there a lot of, am I going to get my place? Did Neil kind of use it to keep everyone on their toes, or
he did and he didn't. I think he did to a certain point. He you still had to earn your place. There wasn't never going to be any like complacency, if you can understand. And he was never going to say, well, you've automatically got your place. No, I was, because if I was struggling, because I think we played at Cardiff about 3-4 weeks before the Wembley final, and I done my medial ligament, and I was struggling to get back fit, and I come back fit. I was training on myself. I was training 2 or 3 times a day, trying to get fit, trying to get my leg right, trying to get the and unfortunately, like I did, I started the game, but it was I was kidding myself, but but at the end of the day, as we say, coming onto the game, like it was fantastic leading up to the game, and the fans, everything was just different. It was just like a party atmosphere.
Tell us about the game then, because there's 27,000 Huddersfield fans wrapped around Old Wembley with the Twin Towers. You're walking out, Neil Warnock's leading the teams out. We've seen videos as you're growing up of FA Cup finals and Shankly and all sorts of famous names, guiding people out. What's it like to sort of, or did you ever sort of stand there in the middle of the field and look up and look around and think, it's amazing to be here?
To be honest with you, going down, we stayed at the hotels and had our suits done and God knows what. Obviously leading up to the game. It was all the family, even looking around to see if your family, wherever your family were and whatnot. And most of the game, well, first, I think after about, like I was saying previous, about when I'd done my medial, about 3 or 4 weeks before, and I came back too early, and it was my own fault. And I thought I'll never be able to play at Wembley again. And I thought, I'm fit, I'm right. And I kidded myself, to be honest with you. And I admit it, I even said to Neil, I said, I'd done it after about 10 minutes into the game, and I wasn't right. You could see in the game, I wasn't right. I was making a token gesture to try and get there or to try and make a tackle. I was never right. And he bought me off at half time, which, looking back in it, in hindsight, was the right decision for him and for me. But I went mad. I absolutely went. I said I was going to kill him. I was going to kill Neil. and I said I'll never play football for Huddersfield again. I remember that. So we went back to the hotel up on, well, I can't think what it's called. It's closed down now. Up by New Mill. There was an hotel there. I can't think what it's called. We went back there after the game. After the game, we lost on what we did on penalties and whatnot. I didn't speak to him. I didn't speak to him in the dressing room. I didn't speak to him on the coach. Went back to the hotel, got in my car and went home, and didn't speak to him. Didn't want to know him. And I said I'll never play football for Huddersfield again because I was hurt. But it was the best thing he ever did for me, to be honest with you. Because if I'd have carried on, I'd have made myself look even more of a silly fool, to be honest with you. And we didn't. And I think if I remember right, we lost. And I don't know if we had Cambridge away in the midweek, and he chucked me straight back in. And he said, "How's your knee?" And I said, he said, "I need you to play." So I had an injection. I remember having an injection. I played, and I had a chat with him after the Cambridge game. We played away, and he said, "I need you to be here. I need you to be right." He said, "I need you to get your head back on." And I did. I listened to him. And we got through the season, and it was the best thing I ever done because, like I said, leaving Huddersfield became once I went to Swindon and Bury and wherever I went, it became a job. It was never. It was something that I just didn't enjoy doing. As soon as I was, to this day, it was my own fault why I left Huddersfield. But at the end of the day, it was my own fault. I held my hands up, nobody else, and it was the biggest regret I ever did. Was I wish I was still there. I wish I really do. It makes me want to fill up at times because I love Huddersfield and I love being there and I want to be part of that club still, even though I am in my own way and your ways. I still am, but I need to be there. That's I need to be there. And I've spoken to Boothy about this, and we've had many chats about it. And it's just it ain't just a club. It's my heart, it's my home, it's my life, it's my and I need that. You know what I mean?
It's
thing is, as a fan, you got that from, as I've said earlier on, from the terraces. It's easy to associate with a player who clearly gives a shit. Sort of a players who you can tell they care.
Oh man,
you can tell that what you're feeling is what they're feeling. They've got the chance to affect it on the pitch.
Yeah.
And as a fan, it's just so easy to get behind players like you because that's who you care.
Oh, thank you for that. But like I said, at the end of the day, as soon as putting that, I was honoured in for Huddersfield. I always have been. And as soon as I put that shirt on, we had to win at all costs. And sometimes the cost me, cost the club, or whatever. But I think I had more happy memories than I did sad then.
Well, one amazing memory and one thing that's really, similar to you, one thing that's very close to Huddersfield Town hearts as well is Leeds Road, fans of a certain age. And what was it like as well? Sort of, it's 26 years the other day, since we moved to the new stadium.
Yeah.
What was it like? What were the emotions like? So it's leaving Huddersfield's obviously very emotional, and we'll talk about that a bit more as well. But what was it like playing in the last game at Leeds Road? There's a lot of emotion. I was, I think, 12-ish, 13 or so at the time, and it probably didn't dawn on me at that moment how big a deal that was. Probably more so for Neil and Kosi. But what was it like as a player? To sort of, you're entrenched in this football club now. What's it like to move from a place of such history and players such as yourself, Boothy, the latterly, but before that, Dennis Law, Frank Worthington, Trevor Cherry, those players.
But what you got to understand is I hadn't been at the club that long, so I knew about the history of Leeds Road, and it was great. And the people that had been there have a lot longer than myself, and the fans. Yeah, it was. You could sense the dejection. You could sense the sadness. You could sense the joy that when going through it, because everything's got to move forward. They couldn't make a new ground around that ground. If you could understand, we had to make a new ground. And for those sort of fans that have been there many, many years, and I've seen a couple of videos, and it choked me the other day. I put on their heartwarming a few of the things. And it must have been so heartbreaking and so sad for some people to move from seeing the things that's happened at that Leeds Road ground. That, like I said, I only played there for not even a season, and but I could sense the sadness that people were feeling, that the enjoyment that we were moving to another ground. That was for myself, because obviously, but the history that the club had there must have shocked a lot of people to the core moving. But like you said, times move on and times change, and to move forward, you gotta better yourself and better things. And like I said, the ground was we had a great history, great thing, but it was an old ground, wasn't it? You couldn't really, and it's sad. It's sad. To be honest with you, it would have been great. I always said this. It would have been great if they could have moved to a new ground and left the ground there just as a museum for people just to go around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For old people just to go around and have a look and say, "Oh, I want to go over there," and just have a look and take your kids and say, "This is what happened here. This is what happened there."
Yeah. Better than go to Argos, Bully, or what else is there for the DFA? Yeah. You still see that little centre circle where Dennis Law ball and stuff, but I remember being gutted. But it. Next season we're going to be an unbelievable season, eh?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the new stadium then, Bully. What was it like moving to this new stadium? I imagine the facilities were a lot better at the new stadium, and we just at the end of that previous season gone on a great run. The Autoglass Trophy took us on a great run. Yeah. It despite losing that final, we were able to use the money to sign players like Pat Scully and Tom Cowan, and you made the central midfield place your own at that point alongside Richard Logan. Do you think the Autoglass Trophy was maybe a catalyst for that amazing run at the start of the next season? And what was it like to play in that new stadium as well, when it's all shiny new and very unique at that point in football?
Yeah, I do. I agree. It was a catalyst for us to move forward. The facilities, because at the old ground, you go and when you're in the dressing room, you had the few showers, you had the physio room. But you had the big communal bath, and it was about 4 foot high, and it was about 20 foot wide of a square, and it was full right to the brim, boiling hot waters, and you love getting in there after a game, look. And but then we went to the new ground, and it was all hygiene and everything with AIDS. If I remember rightly, HIV then come in, so you had to have single baths and single showers. You couldn't have a big communal bath. You know what I mean? So it was all set up that there was different baths, different showers, different cubicles, and it was different. And it was basically a step forward, and you had to move forward in, i.e., with facilities, with training grounds, with how you got all this now where you can sit and eat, and you got canteens and all that. It was not there was you grab a sandwich after the game, that was it. At the old Leeds Road and go lot or whatever. It was all set up differently, and it was good. Don't get me wrong, it's what we needed in it, and I think it pushed the lads on a little, firmer, and we believe what he put together at the time, coming up for that following season, for the next probably 18 months, was the start of a good run for us and a good side. If I remember, we did have a good side, and we had a camaraderie together, which was, if one goes, we all goes, and at the end of the day, that's it, simple.
What was it like going toe to toe with Birmingham City that season? Seeing as I think your family are Birmingham City fans, aren't they? So what was it like in the Bullock households with you at Huddersfield and them and Birmingham? Because they had a good side as well, didn't they? Yeah,
they did have a good side, Birmingham, I must admit. But I seem to remember I scored more goals against Birmingham than I did in the league. Any time I scored, probably about 5 times against Blues. I didn't care, to be honest with me. Old man and my brother and that Birmingham supporters, and they was like going mad, and I should just tell them just this off. I said, I'm playing for the Town, I'm scoring against you, bollocks to you. And that was it. But I can remember when we played down at St Andrews, and I got the old man some tickets, and I put it. Unfortunately, I put him in the. He had tickets for the Birmingham end, and I scored. And he jumped up in the Birmingham end when I scored, and they was going to fill him in. He said, "No, I'm a blue nose. I'm a blue nose." So I can remember stuff like that. Yeah, I used to have some banter with my old man and this, that, and the other, because it's just me dad, me brother, me brother-in-law, his family, and that they all support Birmingham. They used to go mad at me. They used to go absolutely mad. But I used to love it. I used to love scoring against the Blues. I absolutely loved it. And I used to, do you know when you go down like a Cheshire cat after them the next few days down into Worcester, and they'd be like that, they'd be throwing stuff at me, and I'll say, "Dad, where's me dinner?" He'd say, "It's in the bin." Stuff like that. But yeah, it was banter, but it was good banter as well.
Yeah. Isn't it that up until I think 16-17, the promotion to the Premier League, 94-95 was my favourite season by a long way. It was amazing, the characters and everything. Yeah. There's some of the results there as well, winning away at Bradford 4-3, beating Brentford at home, and Brighton 3-0. I remember Steve Foster with the headband for Brighton as well, and dispatching them. We came very close, didn't we, that season? We were top sort of going into April, and then just fell away. Did we just run out of steam a little bit with a few bits?
I think injuries, and I think injuries, and I think we had a little bit of a lean and a bad spell at the wrong time for us. And once you hit that little, even in any sport, once you hit that flat spot, it's very hard to get the motor start running again and get them wheels start back into motion. But we had a good character in Neil, the gaffer. He was, a lot of people misperception about the bloke. His man management is fantastic, and the way to win, the will to win, and the will to get things right is unreal. And the things he does off the pitch away from training is scary. The things he does is like the amount of time he puts in and effort he puts in, wherever he goes. I would imagine, obviously with his CV the way it is, but
he's not been lucky, has he? Let's be honest. He's just worked hard, and he's bloody good at what he does.
Yeah, he gets the fucking job done, doesn't he? At the end of the day, and at the end of the day, no disrespect, I say this to a lot of people. Me and Boothy spoke about this last year, and to be honest with you, Warnock set the ball in motion for Huddersfield. He set it off, and it's just been a rolling on effect to get where they wanted to be the last couple of seasons, in the Premiership. And it's just been a knock-on effect from 94, 95 onwards. It's been a knock-on effect. And it's just, it's put it in motion. It's put it in, it took time. But we've been there and people should, I'm honoured and I'm proud to be part of that history. I always have been, I always will be to the day I die. And people like the fans like yourselves have sometimes got to take a pat on the back for yourselves, because if it isn't for you lot, because I always say it, I've been around in football. I've been a lot of places, and I've never seen more passionate, more genuine fans than Huddersfield. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Not because anybody's here, I mean it. It is unreal. You do not realise what you do when you're on that pitch, what you can hear, what you sense when you're off the pitch. Scary, absolutely scary. It was an honour and a pleasure to do that. Brilliant. I mean that.
Brilliant. So everybody's down a little bit, because we were top, weren't we? And then Birmingham came and beat us on the last game of the season, and we'll talk less about that. You let your dad talk about that. But
bollocks to him on to tell him about
that. How did the manager lift you then for those playoffs? How, because
you don't need lifting. You don't need lifting for playoffs. You don't. If you knew, you shouldn't be in the game. It's part and parcel. Like Neil said, it's a job. We got to do a job now. It's not a fucking. It's not a. It's we got to do a job here. And like I said, we were awful. And I thought we were awful the home leg. We were awful. We were fucking diabolical. And we managed to scrape a draw. And like I said, going in the dressing room at the end of the game, they were laughing and they're joking. Nicky Foster and Martin Granger, is it? I had him up the left back. I had him up the throat in the dressing room thing, but they was laughing. But it was. I was frustrated because I knew we were poor that day, but they were laughing. And what Neil said to us, he said, "Listen to him." And that's all he had to do.
Same talk done.
Yeah, fucking just went. We went on bang. We went into training on the Monday. And we just went fucking bang, bang. And there was a different, you could sense that there was that bump back we had 6, 7, 8 weeks before. And I was like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? And we went down there, and like I said, it was game on.
Right, yeah, the FT index they used to call Forster and Taylor. Yeah. I remember that the other day after we spoke to Donny, the FT index.
Yeah.
Right, so that game against Brentford, it's a war, isn't it? It's an attritional battle out there. It's an incredible game. A few chances. I think the best, you watch the highlights, and the best chances are more Town, really.
How tough.
We should have won it, to be fair.
In fact, Chris Billy, how he stopped that one with his foot there, he just clipped it and went around the post. I was begging him for that to go in, but in a way, I'm glad it didn't, because I scored the winner of the penalty.
Tell us one thing then, Bullock. The game goes to penalties. Pat Scully misses, but Steve Francis makes 2 great saves, and it's down to you. You're jogging towards the penalty spot. You place the ball down. You turn around, and then on the halfway line, you see Ronnie Jepson, Lee Duxbury, Ian Dillon, all clenched fists like this. Come on, Bullock, come on. Like this. Behind them are a couple of thousand Huddersfield fans jumping up and down in expectation behind, in that goal. Having just seen Jamie Bates miss, and the look of horror on his face that washes over. I know I'm a Huddersfield fan, but when I see Jamie Bates turn around, it's such a horrible face to see.
It's superb. Yeah. I loved it.
To be honest with you, I can't say too much on it, because if the missus would have been around, I shot me bolt. I did twice. That was the end of me. I was going, fucking come on.
I was going to ask you.
Bollocks to him, he's going to take it home, not me.
I was going to ask you what was going through your head, but I feel like I should ask you what's going through your pants now. But
that's what he was getting. No, let me give you the story now, right? Let me give you a story. Before we went down to Brentford, travelled down to Brentford, right? We took penalties. We had penalties competitions between the lads, and Warnock said, right then, boys, this is who's going to take this. If it goes to penalties, right, so who's going to take the first 5? Right? Now listen to this. Me and Lee Duxbury was down for number 5. I was down for number 4. We got it fucked up. We got it all way wrong way round. And I said, and that's the truth. Lee Duxbury's supposed to take the 5th one. I was the 4th one. So we get down there, and I looked at Dux, and he goes, what are you doing? He said, I'm taking the 4th. I said, what are you doing? He said, fuck that. That was true. He said, I'm taking the 5th. No way. He said, you can. So if you look at the video, when he's walked up, and you look at the video when it's sending back, you can see me behind Ronnie Jepson, Chris Billy, and I'm pacing, walking side to side, thinking, what's happening here? If you have a look at it, and it was the true fact that I was supposed to take the 4th. And Lee Duxbury bottled it, and he took the 4th, and he put me down for the 5th. A shitbag. So that was the true fact. That was.
It worked out all right.
Obviously, like I said, I went down. I'm walking down. All I've done is, like I've done you see it in the Preston game. I've just run and smashed it, and that's all I've done. I've gone up. I've got the crowd behind me and fucking cheering and whatever. And I'm thinking, fuck this bollocks. So I just put it down. I walked back, said the referee. As I'm looking at the referee, he blew the whistle. And as he blew, I just turned running into it. Lucky enough, I've hit it strong enough because he got a decent hand to it.
Do you think he'd saved it?
He got a decent hand
Where
to it.
we are, I were in lower tier behind goal at other end. And obviously, view to goal at other end from there, shit.
Yeah.
So you think initially, I saved it. And you get that. It was mad because you get that horrible sink. And then that instant,
I know, it's crazy.
And the place just went.
I'll tell you what, I've never, apart from my 2 children being born, I've never been so happy in my life. And it's a feeling that I cannot explain.
You can't explain that feeling.
Nah, the emotions for myself and for you lot, it was, I just, and after the game and then getting in the dressing room and on the coach, it was crazy. But then it hit me after the game. I became a fucking shivering wreck for about 20 minutes. I was all over the fucking place, So it hit me after the game because of the such magnitude of the penalty and what it could have done as well for the club and where we've been the year before, and we can go back and do it again, and hopefully, obviously, win instead of losing at Wembley, which was and then it hit me then. I realised all of a sudden, I thought, I've really missed that. They'd have fucking lynched me in Huddersfield.
I've got one question for you, Bully. Can you still walk on your hands?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
What were
I'm not far now. Not far, because I'm carrying about 4 stone heavier than what I should have do. So I'll probably break my wrists.
Okay. I can barely walk on my bloody feet, never mind me.
Yeah, that's me at the moment.
What were the celebrations like then? Because we've seen the videos, it's amazing. There's people shirts off into the crowd. There's you on your hands, Tom Cowan's on Chris Billy's shoulders, Neil Warnock's clapping Brentford fans, Ronnie Jepson's all over the place.
It was absolutely surreal. It was crazy. It was absolute madness. Like I said, get in the dressing room after, and he's got some videos of when we were in there, and Mick Jones saying, "What's the problem? What we all worried about?" and getting on the champagne and stuff like that. Fine. And I was drinking the champagne, going all over, but I get in the shower after. It all calmed down, and get in the shower after. And I was struggling for half an hour. And even I can remember the gaffer speaking to me and saying, "You all right?" And I was like, and he said, "Madness." And I said, "It's frightening that a little bit. It's frightening me." And I don't normally get frightened and shit like me, but it frightened me a little bit. But lucky enough, it was only looking back. It won't.
If you look at that journey, though, Bully, if you go back from that to 18 months before, you played non-league football for Nuneaton,
madness,
and now you've just scored a penalty to send a team to a playoff final, which mental. That is, it's right rubber stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. And like I said, and this is what I say to my wife and my family and my children and my grandchildren. At the end of the day, I've got something that nobody could ever do. I've got memories. I've got memories of shit like that nobody can ever take that away from me, and away from the supporters and us, everybody else.
Luckily, we shared most of them. We're brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I remember from that Brentford one at the end of it? And you can see it on video after, but where we were in lower tier, all players came over to side at goal and they all started singing to Paul Reed in top.
Yeah, he broke his knee. He broke his
ankle on his knee or something, hadn't he?
Yeah, he done his knee, and he was unfortunately done his knee in about 2 weeks before. Yeah, I can remember. Did you see the bloke stood by the side of Reedy? He's about fucking 25 stone, man. He's got a shirt off. He looks like roly-poly gone wrong, man.
He used to let.
I said to Paul Reed, I said, that makes you look fit.
that guy.
Yeah, but the emotions and scary. Absolutely. I wish I could bottle it up and use it, but you can't.
That guy next to Paul Reed was the the porter as we went on the coach to Wembley. He was the guy taking people's tickets. Yeah, amazing. I remember seeing him thinking, I recognise him from somewhere. But he had his shirt on, so obviously,
Yeah.
But tell us about Bristol Rovers. The crowd's just under 60,000 there. Again, there's 27,000 Huddersfield fans. Bristol Rovers, not necessarily the Premier club, if you like, in Bristol at the moment. They're bringing 32, 33, a big following from Bristol. We're in a different end this time. We're in the poor end, if you like, because we didn't bring as many fans. But tell us about that game. You made you make a huge contribution in the first goal for Boothy, where you head it back into the box, and then Pat Scully across to Boothy. Tell us about that game, because it's one hell of a game if you watch it again.
Yeah, it was. It was a game that brought so many fond memories and so many highs and lows for me at the time. It was fantastic. Unfortunately, a couple of weeks before, I lived with my nan for many years. She passed away a couple of weeks before, and I was in a really. If you look at it, if you look at the walkout at the start of the game, I'm miles behind Chris Billy, miles behind him, because I was determined, because of the year before and the situation I was in the year before. I was determined to make my nan proud and make myself proud and make my family proud. And I walked behind and I just, said a few words to myself and bang. And the game started, yes, it was great. Obviously, they started pretty well. He should have scored, really. The kid just didn't, I can't think of his name now.
Oh, yeah, the midfield, Skinner.
Skinner. Yeah, he went through and Franny made a decent save, but it was a bad miss for me, to be honest with you. But lucky enough it was. And then obviously, the crossing, I've jumped up, Pat Scully and Boothy's headed it in, and we're going in 1-0 up at half time. A couple of minutes we go, and obviously Stewart's equalised, little skank as he is. But we got in one each, and to be honest with you, I don't think, if I remember rightly, Neil didn't have much to say at half time. I think we all realised that we'd shot ourselves in the foot, because Neil, if you ever watch Neil over the years of playing football, when I played for him, if we scored first, he always made sure we got the ball back straight away. He'd always say that, get the ball back first. So I used to chase people down, and I used to make people come with me. I used to say, I'm going for this ball chase, and I used to chase into people into corners or whatever, and I'd try and get the ball back. And we got complacent and we got sloppy, to be honest with you. And I don't think we had to. He didn't have much to say. But second half we went out, and I think it was both sides had some great chances. The save off Ronnie Jepson, back header. Some save that is, to be honest with you. If you look at it in slow motion, that is some save.
Over his head, isn't it?
Obviously Stewie with the bender, and he's at the bar. And then the kid missed the fucking sitter. That Brett. Oh, I'll tell you something. My Babby could score that now, and he's only 2.
That's one of those, when that happens, when you're watching it, you convince yourself that that's a moment that you won. You turn around and say to me, Dad, if that, if he's missing them, our name's on this.
Yeah.
That kind of phenomenon.
I totally agree. And then obviously, obviously a couple of other chances, and he brings Dunny on, and and he knocks in a great cross into Boothy and whatever, and Jeppo's flying through the air like a fucking Mongol, like he used to, and he's missed Jeppo, and it's gone into Chris Billy, and like we say, the rest is history. But that was surreal. That was, and obviously, if it hurt, that did, to be honest with you, because if you understand, I was underneath Ronnie, and about 7 people jumped on, lay on top of me, and I fucking nearly broke my ribs, man. It was killing me, man. But
it was brilliant. I said this to Dunny the other week. I remember when Chris Billy got interviewed afterwards. He said, "How do you feel after you scored?" He just said, "Squashed."
It was madness. It was madness. Brilliant. And then the next. I would say the next 10-15 minutes was a blur to me, because I was just chasing shadows then. It was just trying to close everything down and close the game out, to be honest with you. And I always remember that when Tommy had the ball and he blew the final whistle. It was brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic.
What were the celebrations
fantastic
like?
Feeling. Oh, fantastic. To be honest with you, I thought Brentford was mad, but that day was unreal. Like I said, I was not sober for a week. And that's the truth. I was not sober for a week. And even Neil knew that. And he said to me, you're going on one, aren't you? And I said, yeah. I wasn't sober for
I think you'd earned it at that point, yeah.
That was it. He said, he just said, just be careful and whatever. And that was it. So,
it's funny, like, just saying some of that stuff there. You played injured with injections and stuff. You won't get lads doing that now. I know the game's changed in 20 years, but just makes my heart so glad that team we were watching, I knew it'd run through a brick wall. And what you're saying there is just proving it.
I had that many injections, that many injuries. That it's in life, it's fucked me up now. To be honest with you, it's my own fault. It's fucked me up now. But you know, if somebody said you got to go back, I'd do it again now, 100,000,000%. All I wanted to do was play football. All I wanted to do was go out and put the town shirt on it. And when I had the chance to be captain, and there was nothing made me more prouder than doing that. And like I said, I'll give you a little one. We were playing at home, and I had done my ankle, and Neil said I need him on the pitch, and our doctor was Doc Sorensen. Was it not? What Doc? What's his called? Doc. Oh, glasses. And he was my doctor at the club, and he was the club's doctor. So he said to Neil, Dave Wilson, and said, I need Bully on the pitch today. So he said, all right. So he gets me into the dressing room. My ankle was massively swollen. I couldn't put any weight down on it. He said there was a international meeting coming up. He said, so you've got 10 days off. He said, so you've got to play today. You can have a week off. He said, so I said, all right, no problem. He said, I need you to play. I need you today. I need you to play. All right. I said, so he said to Willow, Dave Wilson, get him in the physio room and get manipulating his ankle, see if he can get it moving. So I said, no chance. So he said to the doctor, he said, get an injection into him, cortisone injection into him. I said, well, put it into my ankle. And I said, then we'll get it ready, and he'd be ready and sorted within an hour or so, and I can get ready and get playing. Yeah, okay. So we put this injection into my ankle, and then my ankle was swollen that much. It's got it, when you have the cortisone, it's got it a piece of a bone. So then it generates all around your ankle, and all around your part of your knee or whatever. And my ankle was that swollen, it was just fluid. So there was nothing for it to go into. So I always remember I got up and I said to the doctor, the doctor looked at me and he said, I can't get it into you, Bully. And I went, I know. And I had all little, it was like, if I'd had a drink, all water would have come out the holes. I had that many injections trying to get this injection in. So we walked into the dressing room and Neil Warnock said to the doctor and Dave Wilson and me, he said, you'll be fined a week's wages. You'll get the sack, and you'll get the sack if you don't get him on the pitch today. And that was the truth. And so I was fucking. So I looked at the doc and Willow, and he went, "Come on, get back in the physio's room." Gets in the physio's room. The doc says, "Flip over onto your front, lie down, pull your legs onto the thing." He said, "I'm going to manipulate your ankle differently from the bottom under." I said, "All right." He said, "So I'm laying down on the flat on my feet, so my feet's angling towards the ground." And the doctor put the injection straight through my heel. I fucking bit an hole in the physio table, and I foamed in my mouth. And I looked at the doctor and said, "You do that to me again, I'm going to kill you." But I played, and that's the truth. That is, because he went straight into my heel, and straight into my ankle heel. Fucking hell, didn't that hurt? I've never felt pain like it in my life. But we played, and I think we won. I can't remember. We beat somebody, and I had 6 days off, and that was it. That was the way it was for me. And nowadays, you got the people now that if they're there and right, they don't play. You know, it's crazy. It's wrong for me the way football's gone at the moment, but. You know, as it is, that's the way it is.
Let's move it on, Bullet. That summer, Neil Warnock leaves. Ian Dunn said he had no idea that Neil Warnock was just on the cusp of going. What was it like then for Neil to leave and then Brian Horton come in? Town had a good season, 95-96.
Yeah.
Do you think we're realistically close to getting in the playoffs that year? Because we just kind of fell away at the end again, didn't we?
Yeah, we fell away the last probably 6 or 7 games, if I remember rightly. I thought when Neil left, it was very difficult. It was very difficult for a lot of people, a lot of players, myself included, you know. And Brian came in. I remember we started back in pre-season. Everything had changed. He brought up Dennis. I can't think of his name. Dennis
Booth, wasn't it?
That's it. Dennis Booth. Yeah. That's it. Dennis Booth and people like that here with himself, and he changed everything around. And we started to. He started wanting to, instead of going long ball and chasing the channels, he started playing football and he wanted football played. And the training was different. You know, Neil used to believe in running with hurdles and God knows what and whatever. And if you weren't sick twice, and then he'd make you run until you were sick, stuff like that. With Brian Orton, it was totally different. It was all about football and about technique and about shape and about stuff like that. And it was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it under Brian. I really did. You know, and we had a great. I thought we had a good season until the last, like I said, 7 or 8 games, and we fell away. I think we finished about 8th. I think, if I remember rightly, 7th or 8th.
I personally thought that was your best season in a Town shirt. I think at that point for me, you showed you were more than just a midfield enforcer. You showed that you could play football, and a little bit later we'll come on to some individual performances and whatnot.
That's right. Brian allowed me to do that.
Do you remember that season? I think will probably be remembered mostly for Town being so close to getting to the quarter-final of the FA Cup since the first time since 1972. We've still not got to the quarter-final now. It's still the closest. Can you remember appearing on TV with Boothy, Jepson and Norah Batty?
That's the summer wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the summer wine. Yeah, I can. Jepper and Boothy. How we filmed it on Evan, I couldn't stop laughing. Every take, they said we're going to have to take that again. I couldn't stop laughing because she kept coming in and I kept looking at her stockings and they was dropping down and everything. I just kept laughing. Boothy was nudging me and Gemma was going whack in her face and I was going, I can't stop laughing. We took about an hour when a 5-minute shot took about an hour and a half for us to do it. It was madness. It was brilliant.
No Tim Baths, though.
It was great. I'll tell you, I remember it. And if you listen, if you still, there's still the part of it. After the game, she said, "Go out of here!" And we runs up the steps. Yeah. You can hear me laughing as I run up the steps. If you listen to me, you can hear me. I'm screaming. They thought I'm going to take that. I was crying. Boothy said to me, he said, "We get some money for that." I was like, they sent us, I think if I remember right, a couple of days later, they sent us a check, me, Boothy and Jeppo. And he was like, I said, "What's that about?" And they put on mine to the clown. I was in bits. Fucking things he used to go through, honest. It was madness.
How did that FA Cup, that Wimbledon game, what are your memories of that when Tom Cowan scored?
I can remember it pretty well, actually. Rodney scored. The keeper made a bit of a fluff, didn't he?
A little bit, yeah.
You know, it's gone through his he's gone through his hands. And I can remember, Tommy scored a great header. Great in the air, Tommy Cowan. Unreal. Yeah. Unreal, like a fucking salmon man. I could jump, but he could jump as well. You know, and looking back at it, to be honest with you, Franny made a bit of a wreck for the goal. He got blocked off, and he scored a Koku on it, from a Koku or something like that. He scored, if I remember rightly, he scored the equaliser. But just before the corner, ball bounced. Now, if I'd have ducked, it went out for a goal kick, and I've edited it, and it's gone out for a corner. And I was fuming, to be honest with myself. I still look back at it at times and think, fuck, if I'd have ducked, we'd have took the goal kick and that would have been it. The game would have been over. I was fuming in a way because you get that hyped up into the game. You just want to do the right thing. Yeah. And I've tried to head in because the ball's coming that quick. It's hit me on the side and then gone out for a corner instead of going out for a throw. And I look back at stuff like that, and but it is what it is. You know, you just
certainly
you
more far more good than bad though. So without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Wimbledon sadly won the replay, and FN Okoku scored an amazing goal down at their place. Didn't he?
That's right.
After Boothy had made Neil Sullivan look a bit daft again, didn't he? Because he outjumped him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But that was a good season. But 96-97 probably. It started off okay from memory. 96-97, we'd lost over the summer. That Neil Warnock side had started to. I think Brian Horton was still playing with the Warnock side a little bit, wasn't he? 95-96, and he brought in Lee Makel, who played alongside him. And then he started to dismantle it a bit more over the summer, and Boothy and Jepson went, and Marcus Stewart and Andy Payton came in up front. So it's starting to look a very different side, and a lot of injuries for the club that season, but it seemed to be quite a difficult one on the whole, didn't it? Although Marcus Stewart was a great player, but he got injured quite early, didn't he? With the shin, I think he had a cyst on his shin, didn't he? Which wouldn't go away.
Shin splints.
Yeah,
I think he had, if I remember rightly.
What do you remember about that season and where it started to sort of drift a bit? Maybe it was just down to the injuries.
I think it was a hell of a lot. I think we were very unfortunate with injuries that come in, because Stewie come in, he looked awesome, didn't he? Yeah. You know, and he had shin splints and he was struggling. You know, you had the likes of Pate come in, Andy Payton. Now he was an awesome finisher. Payton in training, he was scary. He was better than Stewie in training. He was unbelievable as finishing. Andy Payton was. Obviously, Mates come in, and then we had Dolly, Paul Dalton, and all them sort of players. You know, Dolly was a fantastic player. He brought Stevie Jenkins in and people like that. You know, and I think, he changed a hell of a lot of things around, and he brought Jock in with Andy Morrison. But Andy's coming. Andy on his day fitness was fantastic, but he was too injury prone, and he knew that, and Andy knew that, and I think we started to go downhill because of lack of first team players that was generating. Because I think for 18 months you got a lot of people that made their shirt their own. So you knew what you knew. You basically knew what fucking 11 he was going to put out. And injuries, and then he was trying to bring it, and he didn't have. I didn't think he had a backbone of anything then that was coming back through, and it interrupted the rest of the season, and you just can't make it back from there on.
So this is sadly the season where Brian Horton sold you, didn't he, in 1997. Are you able to tell us the circumstances that led up to you leaving Huddersfield?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, I can tell you that.
Tell us what you want, nothing else.
Well, I'll tell you. I'm not going to lie. I'll tell you the truth. At the end of the day, I went out into town, and there was Visage and Ethos. Is it down in?
Yeah.
There was nightclubs down there. I went down into there, and there was 2 or 3 Bradford supporters in there, and it kicked off inside the nightclub. Obviously, with myself, obviously goading me and whatever. So I spoke to the doorman at the time, and I told them. I said to them, look, and they kicked the lads out, which fair enough they did. So after the night finished, I went outside and I was sat on the wall because there was a wall right by the side of it. I was sat on there. And the 2 lads came over, and all the lads gone. 2 lads come over and they started giving it verbally and whatever. And one lad booted me in the chest. I fell over the wall. So I got up, I hit the one lad, knocked him out, and I hit the other lad, knocked him out. But as that happened, there was police officers from Bradford. He jumped on me, the one lad did. One police officer, they put me to the ground, and the other, they handcuffed me, and I said, look, I'm come free. I said, there's cameras. I said, you can have a look at them. Even the bouncers was trying to say to them, he's done nothing wrong, and he's defended himself, but they wouldn't have none of it, these Bradford coppers. So they've handcuffed me at the back. Now, on my face on the floor, with my handcuff behind my back, and my face, the one copper's got his foot on my face. And I remember the Doc Martens used to wear? Yeah. I had the print, I felt it in my face. And he's leaning down over me and going, how do you like getting kicked then? He said, hard man. And I was like, hey, what do you want about, pal? And he was something, I think he was to do with I found out later on he was to do with the Bradford football ground. You know, when they used to generate the police officers to go around? He was to do with that. So something had obviously been said or whatever. So I didn't know. The other police officers lifted me up. Now you've got to understand, they normally, if you go, they put you onto your knees and then they lift you up. He's lifted me from ground to lift it up to my feet like that. So he's ripped my shoulders right back. It's nearly bust both of my shoulder blades, to be honest with you, lifted me up, laughing. So I've headbutted the one copper as he's done that, and I've hit the other. Well, not hit him, just banged him in. And then the two other police officers come over, and they was Huddersfield police officers, and the one police officer, I can't think of his name, he was the chief steward down at the ground, and he was the chief steward for the police, and he was a nice bloke. So I was getting on with him really well, and he said, "What have you done?" And he said, "I've seen it." He said, "But what?" The police officer who trod on my face and whatever got sacked, but they still wanted me to be done. So I was either going to get 18 months, 12 months inside, 18 months inside and do 12 months inside, or do 18 months of suspended sentence instead of Huddersfield for a period of 2 years. I only had 12 months left on my contract, so I spoke to my agent, I spoke to Brian, I spoke to the club. I said, "Look, the best thing if I do is go." I said, "Because if I go inside, my contract's up, I'm going to have to leave anyway when it comes out." So I said, the best thing in all rounds is for me to go then, isn't it? And that's how it was. They gave me 18 months suspended sentence. I was banned from the town centre for 2 years, and the rest is history, as they say. But if I was thinking back in it, I should have took it a little bit further, because the bloke who stood on my face, he had, I would have been found for self-defence. But as they say, it's happened. I'm not proud of it, but if it happens again, I'll still do the same again. That's the way I am. That's the way I will be. At the end of the day, I believe in fair justice, but obviously, I didn't get it personally that evening. But like I say, I was in the line like I was out to be got. I was got. They dangled a piece of carrot in front of me, and I bit it. So that's it. It's my own fault, but the rest is history.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly a sad story. Not because of what's happened, but because of as fans, we're losing a player that we all love to watch as well, which is one thing. So the ban from Huddersfield didn't last that long, because you had to come back with.
I had to get an order on the Friday. I had to get an order to go there on the Friday, and I had to leave by Sunday at a certain Sunday 12 o'clock Sunday afternoon. I had to be left.
Well, okay. So the other day, on about a week ago, on Twitter, we're more active sort of on Twitter than Facebook, and Neil sent me a challenge to show some football memorabilia. So this is where we had Matt Glennon showed us, his old Peter Shilton goalkeeping book and things like that. I don't own a lot of football memorabilia. That means a lot to me, but I do have one item that does. I'm just wondering if you can explain to me the story behind this.
I fucking knew you right now. That's brilliant. Fucking hell, man.
It's still got the stud marks in the collar.
Fucking right it has, and it should do. That's quality. I can remember that when I come back in, I had to leave on a fucking. I left very quickly, and I left without really saying goodbye to nobody. You didn't. You just got to go and leave. And coming back, looking for me, I'll come back last game, and doing what I did was. I'll still do it again. I'm glad I did it. I put the shirt on because I didn't want to fucking play for Swindon. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to. This is my own. This is where I was. This is where, and that's why and that's why I did it. And people can, in Swindon, bitch me as much as they want to. At the end of the day, I don't give a flying fuck what they think. My loyalty, my time, my heart, my place. This is Huddersfield. Swindon, you're just a town with a football club. That's it.
How did Steve McMahon take it? Because obviously, for those people that don't know, at the end it was a 0-0 game. Wasn't great. You played for Swindon. at the end of the game, you took this off. You stamped on it on the floor.
One of the best things I've ever seen in a football ground.
And you did a couple of laps of honour with a town shirt on, the scarves.
Just to say thank you to the fans. That was me. That's me. That's what I had to do. If I would have just walked off and waved like that ain't me. That ain't me giving something back to what these fans have given me. So I had to give something back. And that was
one of the best things that I've ever seen in a football ground.
Brilliant.
Without a doubt. you don't forget it, and that just showed the response that you got back from us, the response that you gave to us. That just showed the complete. It was a synergy between you and the fans. It were
always happened.
It were real. It were real.
Yeah. And it meant something to me as well as it did to you lot. It meant it to me. It didn't mean he's just done that as just to say thank you. It meant something to me. You know what I mean? It meant something to me. It meant something to you. And I went in like you said about Steve McMahon. Steve McMahon knew I was going to do this, and I knew Steve really well or not because he was okay. Steve was with me, and he just said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm staying up here the night," and I did. I stayed the night, and I went up into Shepley with my mates Colin and Dill and all them lot. Went to the old Farmer's Boyd up there, that place when it's closed. Well, it's closed down now, isn't it, or something like that. So, and I went up there, and then I went into town after, and the rest is history. Like I said, I got absolutely smashed. I went home on them. I had to leave by 12 o'clock on the Sunday. But I wasn't popular when I went back to Swindon anyway. I must admit that.
I can imagine. What was your? Tell us about your career post Huddersfield. I know you've said that after Huddersfield it was just a job, and you don't sound like you've enjoyed it as much. You had a spell at Bury, back with Neil Warnock at Sheffield United for a little bit.
Yeah. I went to. Well, Neil took me to Bury. I went to Swindon, and then Neil took me to Bury, and then he left, and then he went to Sheffield, and he took me there on loan. Because I didn't want to play for Andy Brees at Bury. Like I said, it's as mad as it seems, and as mad as it sounds. Like I said to you, I left Huddersfield, and it was like me right leg had been chopped off. That was it. It was just a job there, and nothing could surpass what I had in Huddersfield. So it became. It wasn't something that I enjoyed doing. It was just a job. It was just a job that I had to do so I could pick up my wages to look after me wife and my kids and my life. And I was thinking that's the only thing that hurts me, because I should be, and I know this passionately that I'd still be at the town in some capacity now if I'd looked after myself better.
Wikipedia tells me you went on Deal or No Deal. Is this true?
No, I didn't. No,
It's just something someone's put on.
No, what it is, there's right. I've said this, and they said you took 14,000. I said I wish I fucking had. I said I've been on no deal. I said I haven't. There's a lad who used to play for Rochester United, right? That's in Staffordshire or Stoke Way. Rochester United, and his name's Darren Bullock, and he went on Deal or No Deal.
Fair enough. Well, that's that cleared up. That's
cleared up.
We'll get. We'll.
If I was, then I'm actually don't say no because the wife's here. If I did that to you, enemy.
I'm gonna say
fucking hell! She's just got a fucking 6-inch carving knife on the side of me.
Where have you stashed this 14 grand?
Yeah, madness.
Buried up in Huddersfield somewhere. I'm going to say I'm starting to look a bit like Noel Edmonds with this lockdown haircut thing. So
I was going to say, would you? Hey, Deal or No Deal?
Banker's on the phone as well.
I was going to say the fucking wanker's on the phone.
Banker's
onto your wife. Oh, dear.
Could you believe what happened to Bury? That was sad with that. It was disgraceful, wasn't it, that they just let him die
I'll tell you something, the Football League wants fucking shagging for that. They're disgraceful. They're absolutely disgraceful. And at the end of the day, if it was any other big club, say a bigger club, say the Championship or the Premiership, they'd have helped them. Because it was a small little club like Bury, they fucked them off. And it's wrong. That is wrong, that is. And I believe this. I believe the FA Always been the same. They just look after themselves. They don't look after anybody else. They don't care about football. They've always been the same, the FA. Always been the same. I got not a good word to say about the FA at all. They're all fucking a bunch of two-faced twats.
Can you give us an opinion next time, Bully, please?
That's the way it is. That's my opinion. That's the way it is.
So you're on the bench there.
Yeah.
So if you look at the here and now, Bully, they don't seem to be about, let's get this Premier League finished behind closed doors and the rest can do mathematics or sack the other divisions.
You're going to get too many rich. You're going to get too many people. Look at West Brom, look at Leeds. All right, horrible Leeds. But look, they're going to put solicitors out. Liverpool, they're going to put solicitors out. You're going to lose billions on billions on billions. So what they're going to say is that we'll do it behind closed doors, get it finished, get it done. 8 games or 10 games left and whatever. You do Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday. Finish all the rest and finish the AF out, the FA Cup or the Champions League. Finish all that. Just finish the league, and that's all they're doing. Because they want to earn the money. It's a fucking waste of time. For me, it's just at the end of the day, you cannot put a price. You cannot put a price on a life, and a life's more important than fucking any football.
100%.
Fact.
100% agree with
Correct.
I think that's a good point to move on to a next section, which will be based on managers. So what I've done, Bullock, when I rung you, you said you got some stories to tell on some players and managers. So I've put managers and players separately. So manager, you only played for 2 at Huddersfield, really. Neil Warnock and Brian Horton. I think Kosi wasn't a fan of Brian Horton, so he was hoping you would dig him out a little bit, but never mind. What was it like?
No, I just felt, Bully, that we'd had that great ride under Warnock. He was fun times, and to me, Brian Horton Dunny mentioned it. I don't think Dunny was a big fan, but he was like, to me, I know better than you. I used to, manage.
Yeah, I played for this, and I've done that. Yeah, he was what I did, man. He was on, and to be honest with you, some players it was difficult. Me, it just went over my shoulders. I just thought, just get on with your game, just do what you're good at, and just that's it. At the end of the day, as long as we're winning. That's it. I don't give a flying fuck what you've done 25 years ago when you had a big long beard and that long hair. I don't care. At the end of the day, they ain't going to care what I've done later on in life. At the end of the day, it's pod. I don't go around saying, "Oh, do you know who I am?" Do you know? At the end of the day, if you've done something in life, you'll be remembered for what you've done in that life later on in life. You don't have to tell people what you've done. Simple as. That was the way it was for me. And with Warnock, with the gaffer is Warnock. Like I said. I still speak to him now, and I'll always call him Gaffer. I always do. I don't never say, "All right, Neil." I always say, "All right, Gaffer, what you up to?" and this, that, and the other. Stories with me and him, some you can't really. I remember he used to wind me up and get me that wound up for games. It was frightening at times. And I always remember we were playing it Peterborough away on a night game, Tuesday, and we travelled down. And my daughter and my wife and that used to go round to Sharon's, because we both lived in Home Firth. Neil did and I did, so the kids used to go up to Neil's with Sharon and my wife. And my daughter, where they lived at the top of Home Firth, they had a big bank. My daughter went down a bike on the bank, broke her arm, and then she broke her arm in the morning. Well, I was wondering why I was trying to get hold of my wife, and her phone was off all the time. So Neil wouldn't allow anybody to tell me that my daughter had been in hospital and broke her arm because he wanted me right for the game. So, and after the game, I went mad at him and stuff like that and things like that. We used to have some banters, but I remember. So I had him back a couple of times. I used to get. He used to turn up in his fancy Mercedes. Like this grey, this silver thing, he gets sponsored by somebody or whatever. So I had him. I remember I had him once. He went to me. He went absolutely berserk, and he said, "I said, not me. What come on me?" I said, "What?" He said, "What me?" I said, "There ain't no cameras around. What fucking me? Don't shoot me." I remember because when it was warm and he used to run us and do everything and fucking train us and run us and train us until you're sick. And I thought, I'll have you back. So there was all shit manure. So I put it all on the other fan across the heater. And so every time he turned the heating on, the fan on, it's fucking all shit went into his face and smiling and everything like that. And he blamed me like fucking at him. And he used to do it. Things like that. Fucking man. And he still this day, he said, it was you, Ronnie, who put that all shit in my fans. Things we used to do that all the time.
Bully, you, honestly, mate, you used to then play for people that I disliked in football because, honestly, Steve McMahon and me, I used to hate his opinionated comments. Yeah. I used to hate the way he played his football. But obviously, he must have seen something in you. But what would he like to play with?
See with Steve, he used to say, he said, I reminded him of him when I played and whatever. And yeah, fair enough. But he knew, because I used to have it. I still speak to Steve now and then, and I used to have a drink with him because he knew he'd have a drink, and I used to tell him how I felt, like I've told you about leaving. I said, it's just a job now. He said, why can't I get what I want, what you were against us? Why can't I get that? And I said, you never get that from me. I said, you never get that. You might get glimpses of it. I said, but you never get it full time. I said, because at the end of the day, my heart isn't in it. I've left where I love and I don't want to be anywhere else. That's it. Simple as. And I told him, he knew that. And that's why eventually he sold me to, and when Neil come in, I thought I could have got something back. Going to a Bury was a bad move for me. It was the worst move I ever done. Fucking worst move ever. But I decided after when I'd been to Bury after a couple of years, I just thought, I just got to see this out now. I just want to go home. I want to go back to Worcester. I want to go home and see my kids. And that was it.
On Neil Warnock, then, if you go on YouTube, the Neil Warnock bollockings are a thing of legend, aren't they? On there, and you've been on the end of 2 videos there. There's the Birmingham away. There's the famous one really is Shrewsbury away.
I was banned. I didn't play.
But what was that? What was it like though? The Birmingham one you obviously played, but what was it like to be on the end of those?
He was nuts. He was nuts. Now I'll give you. He was nuts. Is after things was sometimes you'd be too scared to even move. Don't fucking move. Don't you be like that. Fucking oh shit, man. And I'll think, well, hold on. I went to school. I say stuff like. I'll give you an example. Right. The first game I played for Huddersfield, Blackpool away. Yeah, we played. Now. We were winning 2-1 if I remember rightly, and they equalised late on. Was it right or something like that? Was it 2 each or 1 each?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I remember they had a big striker, Murphy, right, didn't they?
But they equalised, or they might just either equalised or they might just scored late on, and it was against Blackpool, and Warner come in and in the dressing room after the game. Then he used to be mad, and he used to always wear his tracksuit bottoms with his fucking boots, his football boots on, and a coat on. And he never used to stand on the touchline with a suit on. He used to always wear boots, tracksuit bottoms, and a coat, always. So he come in after and kicked off. And it was a cold, and there was all cups of tea and oranges and sandwiches and whatever. And on the, do you know the little tables you can get, the little square tables? And underneath there's metal that you screw into the wood. So he's come in and he's ranting and raving. And so he's gone, fucking hell, the tea's gone everywhere. So he's booted this table, you know, to move it. And he's booted the metal part underneath, and all you hear is ting! And the fucking table didn't move. So I'm there now, I've got my shirt, and I'm like that. I'm fucking crying, I am. Because all you heard was and the table didn't move. And I thought, fucking hell, he booted that. So it didn't move. So he didn't come back on the coach, right? So we thought, what the fuck's going on there? Big Joe said, Gaffer's gone now and whatever. He's had to go back on his own because he didn't want to set the coach for it. So we were all laughing at him. He didn't come into training for 3 days. And he was in plaster. He broke his fucking foot. I was crying. I was having him. And he's coming up to training on down crutches with his dog. And I'm crying. He goes, fuck, get here. I went, what? He wasn't laughing. I went, I told you done that. And he fucking went mad. He went, you fucking bastard. He said, I knew it was you laughing. He broke his fucking toe. I was crying. Things like that. Fucking things are terrible. Oh, madness. That's managers, though. That's it. Players, like you said.
We'll talk about players. Over the course of your career, you've played with and against some good and some not so good players, if you like, and you've had some good individual battles in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
2 spring to mind for me. I think probably your best performance for Huddersfield Town maybe would be November 1995. We play Leicester City at home. They've got Gary Parker, their star player, very decorated player, Premier League player.
Yeah.
Played in the Premier League for a number of years, played for Nottingham Forest, played under Brian Clough, England under 21, B caps, all these things coming off him. He was supposed to come and run the show that day, and you were given the choice of, the task of man-marking him. And not only did you man-mark him out of the game, Huddersfield beat Leicester quite convincingly, and you ended up with 2 goals as well.
Yeah, I remember a couple of days before, Brian said to me, he said, I need you to do a job for me on Tuesday. He said that Gary Parker said wherever he goes, you follow him. He said, do not. He said when they got the ball, you stick and follow wherever he goes. You follow him. When we've got the ball, just go and do what you can do. He said because I was fit then and I could run all day and I'll chase anybody then all day, so I could go forward and get back as soon as we lost the ball. So yeah, it was like I said, they were flying at the time, and it was a good night. It was a good night for me all round. Obviously being captain as well and scoring 2 goals and beating them, and it's what I say to a lot of people is I wasn't just an on-field enforcer. I wasn't just to get a ball. I could play football if I needed to as well, and I could sit back, generate other things. That I could go forward and try and press the ball and get the ball from up there. But I could play as well, and under Brian, I was allowed to do that at times, and it showed. It showed at times that I could play. But yeah, that was good. That was good days. That was
The second one I've got. The same season, there was a skinny, young, aggressive, scroty little upstart that came to the McAlpine Stadium by the name of Lee Bowyer. He seemed to want a piece of you as well when he came. I think he was quite young. I remember from that game, a corner came over, and you were in the vicinity, shall we say, of Lee Bowyer. And then the crowd clears from the corner, everybody disappears, and then laying prostrate on the ground, almost unconscious, is Lee Bowyer in the middle.
What happened?
He came back and had a go with Leeds in a friendly, didn't he? But what happened with those battles with Lee Bowyer?
On that game, we had a corner at they had a corner at our end, and he came into the box and he spat in my face. And one thing in any sport, spitting is horrible. Spitting is the lowest of the low, And I said to him, I said I'll fucking kill you, you little rat. And he was just laughing as he was running away. I remember, and then I remember the corner. But I remember looking at the linesman. The linesman turned and gone, and as he was turning on, I just fucking poleaxed him. I hit him with everything I had. So and that was it. And as he said to me after, he said this, that. He said, and I said, you ever come near me again? I said, trust me. I said, we ain't finished. I said, if I ever plays against you again, I said, I'll come to you every time. And that was it. The score of him. And he was an horrible little fucker. He was. And I wish to God I had a lot more games.
It still is, Bullet, and it still is, mate.
Yeah, I wish to God I'd had him. I wish to God I'd have played a lot more games when he would have been in the lead shirt, because I'd have put him over the fucking stand. Never mind, killed him. Because then I would have thrown on the lead shirt. Fact.
I'm sure that had gone down well. But I was going to ask you, did you sort of respect Lee Bowyer for having a go? But I'm probably not going to go.
Nah, not a chance. Nah, he's a little rat. Little coward of a rat.
Bully, next time I get you on, you've got to tell us how you feel, mate, because I'm sick of you sitting on the fence.
Brilliant. Listen, I'll tell you a little thing about the player. Remember, I've got to rip into Boothy. I've got to rip into it. Got to rip it. I love Boothy to bits. He's my best of all. I used to room with Boothy, and we used to have some crack me and him. Right, I got two for you, right? We goes away to. We finished the season. We goes to Magaluf, I think it was. I'm sure it was. All the lads. Warnock takes us. We all goes there. So if he broke his ankle, and if he was in the plaster, the Jeppo and all that lot, we was all. So we me, Boothy's in this one room, and then more Jeppo. There was Jeppo in Pascal who used to smoke. They go up the top in the balcony so they could smoke out the window. So whatever, it was all like that. So we goes out on the night. So me and Boothy's out at this club and that we. As you do, we were all messing around. We were all having a laugh and a joke. Boo was a young kid. I just at the time split up from the wife and whatnot, and we made, as you do, you pour the few lasses and have a laugh and whatnot. So I pulled this German bird. So Boothy was trying his nuts off to try and get it, and I said to him in the end, "Boothy, you got no chance, mate. You fucking one ugly man." I said, "You ain't pulling no birds." So we went back to this. We went back to the room. And I took this bird back with us. So and now she goes, Boothy's messing around, lay on the bed, saying, she said, "No, he's in." I said, "He's asleep. He's asleep." She said, "No." I said, "He's drunk. He's asleep. Leave him. He's asleep." Then there's Boothy like that, lay on the bed, like, acting as though he's pissed out of his head. I said, "He's asleep." So now she's like that. So we've sat there later, like for about 10, 15 minutes, and he hadn't moved. And I thought, he's clocked this. I thought he knows what I'm doing. So I guess I went into this woman. So I'm into this woman. All of a sudden I look up, and Boothy sat up in bed like that. And this woman's like that. I got his up. Boothy's going, "This is good, isn't it?" I remember that. And me and Boothy used to do all stupid stuff together. We went to training. When we used to do the Macau Point, we go over to Leeds Road, over to the training facilities. We go over there. So we drive to the ground, get changed at the ground, and go over to the facilities of the training ground where they are now. So we used to drive from there. Boothy was behind me, and now he had a brand new. He was up and coming now. He was the top dog, like, at the moment, getting sponsored by Reebok and all that. Like, he thought he was the top bollock. So I thought, yeah, I'll have you. So he pulls in behind me. So we come in where the old Leeds Road ground used to be, the traffic lights, where that old pub used to be on the corner, the Workmen's Club.
Yeah.
Bradley
Mills.
Yeah, that's it. The traffic light, they turn right. So he's behind me and he's laughing and joking and giving the fees up in the window to me. So I jumps out the car and I said, "Boothy, what's the matter?" So he said, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" I said, "My car's breaking down." He said, "What's wrong?" I ripped the car keys out of his car and I dropped them down the drain and I left him there. He was stopped there in his car and his car keys was down the drain. I went training and he got fined a week's wages for being late. Things used to do like that. You ask him, he said, "You bastard." He said, "You've left me keys down the drain." So he was stuck there and he had to get his dad to drive his spare set down to him. Things like that we used to do all the time, and things he used to do to me. He used to nick everything of mine. He used to nick me. When I had hair then, he used to nick everything. Shower gel, he used to nick me razors. He used to nick everything. Boothy used to nick everything of mine. I loved him though. I still do. But the last one I can honestly say to you about Boothy is when he was sponsored by Reebok, we were playing Bristol Rovers away. And it was the old Bristol Rovers ground, the old ground. And the dressing room was really old wooden things. So Boothy turned up to training all that week. He'd been sponsored by Reebok. So he turned up with a Reebok tracksuit on, brand new Reebok trainers and boots, and then they turn up really swore, and he'd give it the big one. And I'll say, "Boothy, any chance you get us a couple of pairs of trainers or boots or whatever?" "No." So he's away at Bristol Rovers. I got 6-inch nails and I nailed his trainers to the floor. And he after the game, but you know when he takes the sole out, I nailed them to the floor, put the sole back in. After the game, he went like that to pull them up, and he couldn't pull them up, and he pulled the ones up as well with the trainers. Things like that. We used to get on, and we used to just go on with mad things. But they were great days, and I miss them so much. It's unreal.
It sounds like there's some good characters at Town as well.
Fantastic!
With Simon Trevitt, Jepson, Pat Scully. There's some great ones, and we'd love to be able to go into more detail at another point. I think we've only got sort of 5 or 6 minutes left before Kosi goes on to a quiz. Yeah.
I've got to go. The wife's giving me the daggers as well at the moment, so I ain't fighting with her. She's fucking hard. You
mentioned it in the Mallorca Senator. I think that was a problem.
Now lucky enough, she's upstairs then.
Very quickly, Bully, your all-time Huddersfield Town 11 from when you've played, what would it be?
Franny. Steve Jenkins, right back, left back Tommy Cohen, Pat Scully, Andy Morrison when he was fit. Left side, I'd go Paul Dalton. Right side, I'd go. I don't let me have a think. I'd probably go Chris Billy. I would personally. Myself, Lee Duxbury. And Boothy.
Tough up front there.
Boothy and Jeppo. And I'll put Stewie on the bench.
Super sub. How did you feel then when Huddersfield Town were promoted to the Premier League?
Oh, mate, I watched in the pool with my son, and I broke down in tears, and it was put all over the paper in Worcester. I broke down in tears, and I was crying in the pubs. So it was just, it was an emotional roller coaster for yourselves, me, watching, wanting them to just for you as fans. That's what it was for me. He was fans, just for you to have won that 1 year where you can bang, fucking hell, we've done that, and it was great. It was fantastic. It set it off for me, and that was it. It was great. It was fantastic, and I was so honoured and on board to be part of that motion that started it going. You know, so
I absolutely love the fact that you're so, what's the word, involved. It's so emotionally attached to the club. Massive. I love that because it just shows you that every time you pulled that shirt on, every minute of every game mattered. You cared, and that's as soon as I put that shirt on, my blood would have bled blue. Simple. Yeah. Fact. That's it. Simple. All day long. Love it.
All day long. Fact.
I think one good way to finish, I think this episode, Bully, would be just on your relationship with the Town fans. I remember, I think Town fans took to you very early. I remember the early chants of psycho. You know, as you go around chasing someone and jumping in. What was your relationship with Huddersfield, the town itself, the Huddersfield fans, and do you have a message for those Huddersfield fans who sat and watched you through the years?
My biggest message to Huddersfield Town fans and to the town itself is thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, because you made me. And I love every part of that club and fans more than life itself. I honestly, you know, it makes me fill up. That place is my home, my heart, and my honour. And to the day I die, I will always love this place and love it to the day I move on. Fact.
When we eventually get to a proper game again with all fans there and you can be there, it'd be an absolute pleasure to meet up and buy you a beer.
Fact. I'd be honoured. Yeah, I'll be honoured too. I'll be honoured to have a beer with any of you, anytime, any place, anywhere.
Signed the shirt again, Bully. He's already got one.
Yeah, I'll sign that shirt.
It's already signed. I don't know if you remember it.
I'd rather see you stamp on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll probably piss on that next time. Don't bring a lead.
You can keep it if you want that.
Shirt, though, I'm telling you.
Oh no, we won't do that.
If you want,
you will fall out then.
If you want that shirt back, you can have it. It's fine, especially.
No, you can fuck off.
Brilliant.
Right, fellas.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been brilliant, Bully. Thank you so much for your time.
Anytime, any place, anywhere you need to get hold of me, just get hold of me. I'll do what I can for you, fellas. All right.
It's an honour.
Thank you,
pal.
You're welcome. I'll see you soon. Stay safe, everybody.
And you take care, my friend.
Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.